Kiki. This is my first official lesson, and so let's get started. First, I'd like to see if you can remember anything from the introduction. Yes, we talked about, 3 different styles of learning: visual, audio, and kinetic. At this point, if you could maybe remember one example of each style of learning, that would be really great. That would show that you have gotten something, can remember something from the previous class. So take 1 minute, try to think back. What does a visual learner need? What does an audio learner need? And what does a kinetic learner need? Can you remember? Okay, hopefully, you recalled that a visual learner wants to see things written down. An audio learner likes to hear things, maybe repeat out loud. And a kinetic learner likes to write things out, draw them, see it, actually physically move something. All 3 of those are present in this seminar if you do the homework, because you'll have a reading section that's visual, you have the video, which is audio, you also have a speaking section, which is also should be audio, because you should be speaking it and they should be responding, and you should be hearing the response from an app like we said last time, Hello Talk or Language Exchange, where you communicate with the native. At the bottom of this video, there are comments. There's a comment section. I don't know if you can add an audio file to your comment section. I'm just not tech savvy, but can you guess what that means? But if you can, that's great, and I will check it. But if you can just write out your answers, if you want to submit your answers at the bottom, I will be looking. All right, just if you want, it's up to you. Okay, today we're going to be talking about strengths and weaknesses, pros and cons, cold and hot in a minute. But first, I'd like to go over some of the homework stuff. Now, for those of you who didn't do it, that's fine. You just skip ahead a little bit. But for those of you who took the time, the reading section should be an article called How to Become the Best in the World at What You Do. The first part is 1 paragraph. You should be reading it out loud. That's the best way to make your mouth feel comfortable. The first time, the second time you read it, it should just be about pronunciation, so read it as quickly as you can. I say set a timer. See how fast you can do it. Just do it twice. It should take less than 30 seconds. If you have 30 seconds to spare, this is a good way to improve your pronunciation. Your muscle memory in your mouth makes all of these words come out much smoother, like a native. And that's really important for your confidence. Okay, then we have 3 vocabulary sayings. Yeah. Smashed into submission. The reason I chose this is not because you don't know what the words smashed, submit, or submission mean, but because the way that the author puts these things together. It's very common for natives. It's completely understandable, but it's actually a metaphoric language. Smashed into submission doesn't make logical sense. It's not something a non-native would say. This is an example of a metaphor. What do you think it means when someone says smashed into submission? They didn't say submit, right? Submit to give over, to yield to the power or an authority of another, to present for the approval, consideration, or decision of another, to suggest or propose. That's what it says for you here in the homework. Smashed into submission has a different meaning. It means they used extreme force to get what they wanted, to make you give them what they wanted. Think about the music you listen to, think about films you've seen, think about poetry you've read in, your childhood when you had to do it at school. It's flowery language that's supposed to give you a certain image. You can get it, maybe you can't. The idea is not to be afraid of it, right? We're here to try, we're here to make mistakes, and we're here to keep going. All right. The paper needs to be submitted by Friday at 5 p.m. Please note those prepositions, submitted by Friday at 5. Okay? The pain in my feet was so great, I finally submitted and took off the heels I was wearing. That's my point as a woman. Wearing high heels is not easy and it's not fun. We were all vying for the same position, but I hope to be the one who wins. The boy I like finally spoke to me, but he came to tell me there was some spinach in between my teeth. My heart imploded. I died that day. Because I needed an example. All right, as for the next part, it's start as an amateur, get coaching education, stop living the broken rules everyone else is living, be consistent until you have a breakthrough, structure your entire life to optimize your performance, allow time for recovery, have a pre-performance routine that gets you in the flow, embrace fear and suffering, do it because of love. For each of these, you should be able to give an example. From the reading, there was an example, but better still would be an example from your own life. For example, have you ever actually started something as an amateur? As in, at the very beginning, right? At the very beginning of something, you're willing to do it for free or for no money because it's your passion, it's your dream, and you're starting at the bottom. When I initially started teaching English as a foreign language and I first came to Korea, I wanted to start at the very bottom, so I took a job teaching kindergarten. There was a lot of singing, a lot of dancing. My education level is pretty high. I have an MA, a master's degree, so even though I started at the bottom, I was only willing to do it for 1 year. I don't think there's anything wrong with teaching kindergarten, but it just wasn't for me.